the sleepy train began its ascent and crossed Parwanu. Located on the border of Haryana, Parwanu is the gateway to Himachal Pradesh. On the main highway from Chandigarh to Shimla, it has petrol stations, ropeways and hotels, making it a convenient halt. The journey by the toy train is a unique experience, and the story of its construction equally fascinating. The creation of the Kalka-Shimla Railway is often characterized as a kind of scientific fiction. Covering a distance of 96 kilometers through 103 tunnels and 869 bridges, it has 919 curbs, 20 railway stations and 5 level crossings on the route. This track is one of the most unique railway tracks of the world. Railway chronicles say that this project was sketched almost half a century before it was actually constructed. The efforts paid off, and this track has been recorded in the Guinness Book of World Records as India's smallest railway line. Now, the Kalka to Shimla rail route is covered by many different trains. The rail car, the Shivalik Express, the chair car, and the luxury train that offer a fascinating array of services. Although traveling by bus is quicker, the train journey seems to be a lot more fun. You could take the train all the way to Shimla, or like us, take the train for some of the way and visit the other places by road and rejoin the train at a later station. On the way from Parwanu to Dharampur is the quaint little town of Jabli. Such smaller places en route to Shimla were once only good enough for tea breaks. But now, with the development of tourism, most of these places provide good hotels and offer back something extra to tourists. As the train resumes its journey, it passes Dharampur, which is a serenely located, unpretentious town nestled amidst refreshing pine groves. The exhilarating fragrance of pine refreshes both the mind and the soul. This is where you might want to stop if you wish to go to Kasoli. The next well-known station on the route is Barog. In the early part of the century, Barog was an important stop on the Kalka-Shimla railway line. The train halted here for an hour, and travelers indulged in lavish lunches. Today, the little town with its crisp air and fine views is a holiday destination in itself. Surrounded by pine forests, Barog presents a fascinating view of the 3,647 meters high Chudhar Peak, which poetically translates into Mountain of the Silver Bangle. Just 5 kilometers from Barog is Solan. This is the midway point between Kalka and Shimla on the main road and rail route. The town gets its name from the famous Devi temple, which attracts pilgrims from all over the country. Known as the Mushroom City of India, Solan is fast making strides in the production of various other cash crops, and now even boasts of exotic fruits like the kiwi. A quiet town, Solan has a number of unspoiled spots ideal for walks and picnics. A picturesque walk on a limestone path leads to the Saproon Spring. Karol Tibba is another place worth a visit, as are the villages nearby. Though not used to tourist attention, they can make for quiet getaways. Life here moves at a gentle pace, and so does the train, which meanders slowly through the enchanting Himalayan landscape with an easy grace and assurance.
We are at Karighat. It's a beautiful stop. From Solan to Shimla, we always like to have tea with good snacks like samosas and pakoras, beautiful flowers and lovely view. It's a very clean place and I love it.
Kathni Ghat and Kiari Ghat in Solan, once two lesser-known places on the tourist itinerary, have now become important sightseeing stopovers, with Himachal Pradesh Tourism arranging guided tours to these areas. Though not on the rail route to Shimla, Chail is a popular tourist destination and provides an interesting mountain detour for many.
Just across this valley is Chail. Chail is known for its dense forest, beautiful tourist resort, and also the highest cricket ground in the world is located there. I am so fascinated with this that I am planning to take a holiday to Chail tomorrow morning with my grandchildren.
Amidst the little temples dotting Shimla, the temple of Tara Devi is a major attraction. While the popularity of the local goddess draws tourists and locals to the temple, the view from the temple is an added attraction. Meandering through a series of tunnels from Tara Devi, the train reaches Summer Hill, a quaint township very close to Shimla. This quiet and lovely suburb has secluded and shady walks with charming views. It was here that Gandhiji stayed on his visits to Shimla in the elegant Georgian mansion that belonged to Rajkumari Amrit Kaur. Before one knows it, the toy train reaches Shimla. The journey seems to have come to an end. But if the trip was a likeness of things to come, this would only be the beginning of a multifarious vacation that offers varied possibilities. Heritage walks have also been started daily by the Himachal Tourism from its Tourist Information Centre at Scandal Point. A visit to Shimla is incomplete without visiting Chaco Hill. The temple is only 2 kilometers from the ridge, but for the uninitiated, it could be an hour's walk.
Temple this afternoon. I think it's called the Monkey Temple. We're going to go up there. We've just been wandering around looking at the bazaar, the lower bazaar along the street, and we've just been walking around the square. I think the square is really beautiful. I really like it. I like all the old buildings. They're similar to the ones at home.
The 12-kilometer crescent-shaped bridge on which it is located was first occupied by the British troops in the early part of the 19th century during the Anglo-Gurkha War. The little village of Shamla, a retreat for British officers, soon became the glamorous summer capital of the British in India. It is the present-day state capital of Himachal Pradesh and still holds lingering echoes of its colonial past. All visitors to Shimla inevitably walk down the mall, a busy promenade with its rows of fashionable shops, restaurants, colonial ambiance, and of course, the famed skating rink. Imperial edifices like the colossal town hall, the district court, and the Imperial Civil Secretariat blend harmoniously with the more contemporary shops of the mall. Top end of the mall is the Scandal Point, a large open square with a view of the town, a favorite rendezvous for visitors and locals alike. Above the mall and the Scandal Point is the wide ridge overlooking the town, a place which always has a festive spirit and is an amalgam of all kinds of tourists. Beyond the ridge is the Lakkar Bazaar, with its woodcraft and curio shops, the right place to hunt for classic gifts from Shimla.
यात्री कृपया ध्यान दें 3 TB के पठानकोट से जोगिंद्रनगर को जाने वाली गाड़ी प्लेटफॉर्म नंबर 4 से 10:50 पर रवाना होगी।
The train journey starts at Pathankot, and the route is packed with history, art, culture, and a landscape which is breathtakingly beautiful and fascinating. Work on the Kangra Valley Railway line started in 1926, and 3 years later, the 163-kilometer long route joining Pathankot to Jogindernagar was open to traffic. The grand spectacle of the Kangra Valley unfolds as the toy train approaches Noorpur. Hillocks rise on both sides, and as the train moves over the innumerable bridges built across rambling streams, soon the mighty Dhauladhars gain prominence. Once the Principality of Kangra, Noorpur is 24 kilometers from Pathankot and about 66 kilometers from Dharamshala. Noorpur, or the abode of light, draws its name from Nuruddin, the light of faith, which is the name of Jahangir. It is said that when Jahangir brought Noor Jahan to Noorpur, she fell in love with it, and the town, earlier known as Dhameri, was renamed Noorpur after Jahangir's beautiful wife, Noor Jahan. Local tradition has it that Noor Jahan was so enamored by Noorpur that she ordered a palace to be built for her. Jagat Singh, the local ruler, did not want Noor Jahan's palace in Noorpur, so he appointed sickly workers for the construction of the palace. On asking the reason for the illness, Noor Jahan was erroneously informed that the water and climate of Noorpur was the cause of the disease. The clever strategy of Jagat Singh worked, and the Empress stopped the building operations and proceeded with her husband to Kashmir. In the ruins of the Noorpur fort is a temple decorated with illustrations of anecdotes from the Bhagavad Puran. Apart from the fort, the attractions of Noorpur include the Brijraj temple dedicated to Lord Krishna. The frescoes of the temple are beautifully executed. Their artist Golu is still remembered, for the Raja instituted an annual fair in his honor, which is held even today. As the toy train moves on, it reaches Jwali. Not far from Jwali station is the Pong Reservoir. Malik Range, against the backdrop of the fascinating snow-covered Dhauladhars, the lake presents a scenic sight. The reservoir was created in 1975-76 with the construction of the dam on the Bias River. Covering an area of 45,000 hectares, the lake extends 42 kilometers in length and is 5 kilometers at its widest. The Maharana Pratap Sagar carves an exotic wildlife sanctuary that accounts for fish catch of 500 metric tons per year. It is an excellent spot for fishing. The most beautiful Kangra paintings can be found in the famous Dada Sebba temple. Local idiom entered the painting style and led to a dominance of primary colors with all their vigor and vitality. These controlled the execution of figures, which were stretched like evening shadows cast by a winter sun. Himachal Pradesh offers yet other options to tourists. Paragpur in western Himachal, close from the Guler and Ranital railway stations, is one of Kangra Valley's most picturesque villages. The village is a quaint halt for tourists wishing to explore the Kangra Valley and is a convenient halt even for those going up to Dharamshala. The village has its own story to tell. It is said to be named after a local princess, Parag Rani, and is said to have been built according to ancient Hindu principles. With a strong and well-preserved evocation of rural Himachal, Paragpur has been appropriately designated a heritage village by the government of Himachal Pradesh.
Paragpur has always been a prosperous village. It's got beautiful bungalows, Italianate houses, and by public contribution, the streets have been paved with dressed cobblestone streets. Fortunately, it has maintained its medieval ambience, which is something very special, and the village, compared to other Indian villages, is clean.
One of the most popular Hindu pilgrimage sites in Himachal Pradesh is located nearby, the famous Jwalaji temple of the goddess Jwalamukhi, also called the flaming goddess. It is built over some natural jets of combustible gas. There is no idol of any kind here. The flaming gas is considered the fiery mouth of the goddess. The next station en route is Nagrota Suryan. Not far from this station are the famous Masroor rock temples. 15 richly carved monolithic rock temples dating back to the 8th century are to be found at Masroor, just 15 kilometers south of Kangra. These shrines, built in the Indo-Aryan style, are similar to the rock-cut temples at Ellora and Mahabalipuram, and are the only mountains of this style in northern India. The mystical aura of these temples even makes the local tourists regular visitors here. Both the mountain train routes in Himachal are narrow-gauge tracks, but differ greatly in construction and design. Unlike the Shimla-Kalka train, where the passengers spend much of their time going through tunnels, the Ganga toy train gently meanders through a maze of hills and valleys, offering the traveller enchantingly scenic views. It is not unusual to come across such sights, and perhaps it is this interaction which gives the unique flavour to a holiday in the Kangra valley. The Gaddis of Kangra, or the nomadic shepherds of the valley, came from Chamba and found their way across the Dhauladhar in quest of grazing pastures for their sheep. They are easily recognizable by their distinctive attire, which consists of a long rope tied around their waist. They lead a simple life, have few needs and fewer worries. The main attraction of the Kangra town is the Kangra fort, which was the seat of power of the Katoch Rajas. It is said to have been founded by Susharma Chand Katoch, an ally of the Kauravas during the Mahabharat war. It was the ancient capital of the Katoch kingdom and a symbol of power in the Punjab hill states. The fort stands on a steep rock dominating the valley, and a narrow path leads up to the fort, which was once protected by several gates and had the palace of the Katoch kings safely perched at the top. The fort is enclosed by high ramparts, and its walls have a circumference of about 4 kilometers. It was built about 1,000 years ago on the confluence of the Ganga and the Manghi rivers. Its various gates, shrines, and remains of old palaces cast a magic spell on the tourists. McLeodganj has a beautiful monastery where a serene statue of the Buddha presides over the gentle chanting of the monks. Close by is the beautiful Dal Lake, a popular picnic spot surrounded by forests of fir. Close to the lake is also the serenely beautiful church.
The international tourists, they come here to seek firstly the blessing of His Highness Dalai Lama, and also that their Tibetan medicine is very popular here. And in the domestic tourists, they come here because of many temples here.
Aptly called Devabhumi, the abode of gods, Himachal is a land of temples. Almost every village has its own temple, which are the unrivaled destinations for the domestic tourist. Not far from Dharamshala is the famous temple of Chamunda Devi, the slayer of Chand and Mund. The goddess is said to grant boons requested of her. It is an enchanting spot with glorious views of the mountains. As the train moves on, the passengers are busy admiring the open countryside and the shining white peaks. The toy train, meandering through the breathtaking Himalayan terrain, crosses Nagrota Bagwan, Paror and Sulah. An unmistakable pine scent fills the air, and the track is suddenly surrounded by tea gardens of the Palampur region. The narrow-gauge train comes right up to Palampur. A drive through the pleasant countryside brings us right up to the tea gardens. Travelling on the Kangra toy train gives one ample opportunity to sample the local flavours of the place. Besides the luxury tourist trains, which cater mainly to the tourists, there are other trains also which are used extensively by the locals and tourists alike. The trains have many halts, and it is absolutely convenient to break your journey and take the next train on the route. The temples of the Kangra Valley were once renowned for their legendary wealth. They continue now to attract pilgrims from all over the country. Baijnath is one of Kangra's foremost pilgrim destinations. Situated by the roadside on the Mandi-Palampur road, the location of the temple is idyllic. Known as Kirangama, its name was changed after the temple was dedicated to Lord Shiva in his form as Vaidyanath, or the Lord of the Physicians. Built of stone in the Shikhara style, the walls have the characteristic niches with images of gods and goddesses. An inscription dates it to AD 804, making it one of the oldest extant Shiva temples, and it is said that it was here that King Ravan supplicated Lord Shiva for the boon of immortality. The train rambles on, stopping at various places, waiting for its passengers while friendships are struck. There's something almost ethereal and sylvan about the journey in this quaint toy train. The stretch between Baijnath and Jogindarnagar is the steepest. Here, the train moves at a snail's pace till the highest point is reached at Ahuj. Not far from here are the popular paragliding and hand gliding sites of Bir and Billing. It might not be unusual to look up from the train window and see the paragliders floating away in the distant sky. A 23-kilometer journey from Baijnath and we reach Jogindarnagar. As the train approaches Jogindarnagar, the White Mountains, a constant sight, gradually fade away and the 7-hour Himalayan panorama approaches its end. Jogindarnagar is famous for its hydroelectric project. In 1925, the enterprising Raja Joginder Sen of Mandi created an elaborate hydropower scheme near the village of Sukrahatti, which was then renamed Jogindarnagar after him. The HP State Electricity Board added a set of turbines at nearby Bassi. Jogindarnagar also has one of the most well-developed herbal gardens in the country. To popularize the concepts of the Ayurvedic system of medicine and to unfold the efficacy of Himalayan medicinal plants, Himachal Tourism offers a unique package trek in the Himalayas. The package will introduce the visitors to medicinal plants found in the Himalayas in their natural habitat. The HPTDC runs the Hotel Uhul at Jogindarnagar, and there are rest houses too. Today, Jogindarnagar has everything for a quiet and relaxing holiday and leaves the options open for trekking, fishing, sightseeing, picnics and enjoyable drives around the Ganga Valley.